Yacht a Gemini. Welcome to Navajo Sage Weaver Tarot's channel. Today I am going to do your reading and I am going to shake the gourd to move any stagnation energy. All right. All right, Gemini, I am gonna um just kind of give this a shuffle here. Just gonna open the card, the deck, and we have Wisdom, Beaver, number 6. And then at the bottom, we have 29, Sacred Journey, Transformation. And then from the Divine um, Feather Message, Peacock. We have Peacock here. And Peacock is inherited wisdom is emerging at this time. Watch it and ready yourself for a rebirth. So that's the message. Wisdom, Beaver. Wisdom is a gift from the Creator, and it is to be used for the good of everyone. It is often associated with prudence and intelligence, and it reminds us to practice good judgment. When we consider the decision we make throughout our lives, we should reflect on how the choice of today will impact the 7th generation. Beaver carries the sacred grandfather teaching of wisdom and expressed the difference between wisdom and knowledge. Knowledge is about comprehension and wisdom is about applying comprehension and knowledge correctly. Beaver shows us that when one pollutes a water source, one may not necessarily be breaking a human law, but one is breaking a law of nature. In a broader sense, when we hurt those around us, we in turn hurt ourselves because on a spiritual level, we are all one. Beaver represents wisdom because it is used to innate gifts for survival and alter its environment in a sustainable and beneficial way for the entire ecosystem. Beaver-based decisions on what's best suits everyone rather than just focusing on itself. So it is a message to your gifts wisely and to live your life fully by embracing those attributes. In doing so, you can contribute not only to your own development, but to the development of peaceful and healthy environment, community, and ecosystem. The card may signal a situation where your wisdom is required and where carefully considered is needed during a decision-making process. Sacred Journey Transformation. Butterfly teaches us the sacred journey we all walk through life. Each one of us has a unique and individual path bestowed upon us with distant challenges we must face. Sometimes we must go through enormous amount of struggle But in the end, it is through struggle that we achieve spiritual growth. Butterfly changes and evolves, and it becomes incredibly beautiful because of that transformation. This is a symbolic of the sacred journey that each one of us takes. It is through this journey that we become an incredible spirit and gain immeasurable levels of wisdom and knowledge. The gift we the gift we earn through hardship we face is rewarded of becoming better people who are more spiritually connected and who can trust that there is a reason and season for everything. Looking at difficulties we face in life through the lens of what knowledge can I gain from this lesson? What can I learn from this experience? Can shift our reality and allow us to live in the present and in such a way that we approach everything from a positive perspective. There will always be ups and downs in life and change inedible. Embrace teaching of the butterfly and transform effortlessly. The sacred journey card takes notes of cycle experience by butterfly. Are you currently in an egg stage, possibly given birth to some new idea of life? A caterpillar stage require a major decision to be made? Are you apparently wrapped in a cocoon, nurturing and developing the change taking place? Or lastly, have you reached the stage of metamorphosis, met, meta, metamorphosis, sorry, where you are being called to break out of your shell and show the world your true self? So, those are the messages from the wisdom of
Right.
Elder.
Um,
You're bringing in this energy of keeping people, keeping something at bay. You know, maybe you're you had a betrayal, right? The Seven of Swords, um, and unseen, something that wasn't seen, something happened. Um, Also can give this, uh, maybe you had an idea, right? And somebody took your idea and, uh, or maybe there's some gossip, um, some sort of hidden knowledge. So we're bringing this energy in, Gemini, and then, bringing this energy in brings us to the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands energy reminding us is that we're taking action because we're, beginning a new journey here. We're leaving something behind. So, um, we're leaving, this Seven of Swords here behind. Um, we are, you know, also, this Seven of Swords can mean cautious, right? Dealing with some deception, so you're leaving that behind. So you're making some sort of swift progress, some sort of communication here. Um, and after this communication, this progress, this action that the Eight of One energy is, uh, we bring in the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups is a nostalgia moment, right? The Six of Cups is getting getting some sort of memory, right? That brings us some sort of emotional connection, right? Um, Whatever this energy of Seven of Swords, you know, um, being cautious or dealing with deception. Mm. And so when you're moving away from something and away from that energy, um, right, Gemini? Over. Okay. So when you're moving away from that energy, right? When you're moving forward, sometimes we bring back old memories, sometimes we bring back nostalgia, and we have to be in that moment, we have to feel that moment. And then when that feeling that energy, when you're doing that, right? Then the Seven of Cups energy comes in. And the Seven of Cups energy reminds us, um, maybe there's something overwhelming, right? As you can see, this entity right here is kind of like, oh my God, like, oh my God, it's a lot of stuff, a lot of cups all at once, right? Mhm. So, or um, maybe there's a lack of commitment, right? Because there's a lot of uh, challenges, barriers, maybe Gemini, you took too much on, right? So you're trying to make a right choice of like maybe trying to sort these out, make arrangement, you know. Mhm. So feeling this need to need for clarity, right? Um, Need for organization, need for something, this overwhelmness is brings in the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is worried about maybe not finishing something because it's overwhelming, right? And so maybe there's gossip that, you took on too much and you're not going to finish it, right? And so there's this feeling now, you know, um, or maybe, this is you feeling about yourself, you know, and so, it's putting you in this energy of the Five of Pentacles where you're worried about it, maybe you're alienating yourself because you're worried too, Um, and so you have wisdom, beaver here, going through some sort of cycle. And so when you finally figure out what this Five of Pentacles is, what's making you feel like um like you're have anxiety, right? Or you're uh, what's this? Moving out of winter. So you're probably maybe rearranging, cleaning, and so it's a lot of, energy to do that. And when you do that, you move into this energy of the Queen of Wands here. Mhm. And the Queen of Wands she's creatively focused. Um, so Spirit is saying, Gemini, you are creatively focused. You can handle this. This is nothing to you, maybe. And so all you have to do is put in the work, you know, because you're the Queen of Wands. You're the one that has that personality where you can go into a room and people can remember it, right? You're the one who takes charge. That's why you're not scared, you're not scared to stand up to anything, you don't see anything big or challenging. So, and because you have the beaver here, you're learning that how to go through cycles, letting go, rearranging, cleaning, moving into a new season, you know. And then when that energy, you go into the 10 of chalice and this completion here, expressing gratitude for whatever project, whatever you were doing, right? Um, so you're content. You got all your, you know, you got all your cups wherever you want them. They're not overwhelming because you made and took action. And so now, you're putting them, hanging them up, you know, displaying them in a creative way, unique way. You bring this energy as the Empress, enjoying, right? Enjoying the beauty of your hard work, Gemini. You're cultivating your own nature, your love, loving yourself. And sometimes, you know, when we are doing that, you know, the Eight of Swords can come in energy, maybe feeling like you're being isolated from the rest of the world, right? But sometimes you have to do that, like you have to, you know, take a step back and take your own action to clean your own space, right? Nobody's gonna come and clean it for you unless you pay somebody. But if you do it, there's a different appreciation and a different way of how you engage with it. And then, you know, eh, and, rearranging it in a way that, suits you, and so you see those things, right? And you have to step back and, isolate yourself. And yeah, it does feel like, you're being isolated from the world because you kind of have to. And then when you're going through that energy of the Eight of Swords, taking that step back of feeling trapped, then there's this energy of judgment coming in, you know, calling spirit, helping, aiding. And then when you call in spirit with this judgment energy, you know, then spirit comes in and returns to what you were meant to do, right? Put you right back on your path, start uh trusting your inner wisdom, that beaver, like it, it just doesn't bill because, it bill because it's connected to this energy of, Mother Earth, and there's this cycle that this has to happen, you know, and Peacock here's inherent wisdom is emerging at this time. So every time, every day, every second, you're changing, evolving, you watch it and ready yourself for a rebirth, because you're going to always go through a rebirth. And sometimes, calling to spirit, making that judgment call, calling to spirit, asking help to put you back on the path, releasing, embracing the change that's coming in, because, this beaver energy changed the path, maybe spirit guides you that way, and you have to change the path, make a different dam, make a different house, you know, change it, clean it up in a way, decorate it the way you want. Then the Seven of Swords energy comes in, and the Seven of Swords energy is that you're like here at the beginning, you're still struggling, to trust, right? You're got these swords in your mouth. You're taking only what you can, what you want. And the Seven of Swords is, just being cautious, because, this is a new thing that's coming, right? A new idea being birthed in a way, right? This whatever you're working towards, Gemini. Then you have the Two of Cups here energy, and connecting, right? Connecting with, and having mutual understanding, maybe with yourself, of why you're cautious, look at the uh I don't know, this dog, coyote, right? But if you look at the shadow, it's like this kind of, you know, as teeth, and, so there's something that you're cautious about, you know? So maybe here you need to balance the cups out, make that connection, having that mutual understanding with yourself, it's okay, you can change, have the wisdom, change the path, it's okay to watch it, to see it rebirth. It's okay to go through the cycle, it doesn't have to go fast, to clean, clean your space, decorate it the way you want. Then you have the Four of Chalice here. So Gemini, the Four of Chalice energy is just trying to understand your resources, You had to step back, right? And so you have a different perspective, You're trying to stay in the moment here, trying to figure out what cycle you were in, trying to figure out how to, you know, clear your space in a way so it doesn't feel so overwhelming, so you're not so cautious all the time. Because it takes energy, when you're cautious all the time, always looking over your back, it exhausts you. And then The Nine of Cups comes in when the contemplation of opportunities, when you start figuring out what you want, right? Because you have to figure what you want in order for you to go forward. Nobody's gonna do it unless are sitting in some sort of like cart with wheels and somebody pushes you. Um, then the energy of the Nine of Cups comes in. Sorry, I just need to take a drink. So the Nine of Cups comes in, and this Nine of Cups energy is just reminding us of the wishes that you wanted. They're coming in. You're excited. They're coming true. You're proud of what you have accomplished. You're excited. Celebration. Taking time for yourself and looking at your accomplishment. Feeling emotionally satisfied. You're masculine and you're feminine. Then the energy of the Five of Wands here. No, Six of Wands, sorry, is that victory feeling, bringing it in after you figure out what you want. And then using the magician energy, getting that self-control, gaining that self-knowledge. The magician, finding, you know, bringing in manifestation, and then the Queen of Swords here. And the Queen of Swords is just having that clarity, you know. Um, she's the energy of the like being very independent. So maybe you're finding some independency in this, and it's hard, because you're probably always independent, always, you know, taking care of others, So you're asked for help here with spirit, learning how to come back to your being, to who you are. And then the hangman here, energy, you know, spirit's like, don't struggle against it, go with the flow, go with the energy, you are where you need to be in the moment so you can feel where you are. Um, change that perspective. But the hangman here, surrender. Let the cycle of the cocoon, this sacred journey, just transformation. Then the energy of the high priestess, connecting with, the higher realm. Like she's really serious, with that blue energy, right? So maybe there's something blue, you know, look up the blue energy, what does it mean to you? There's lots of things, water, sky, we feel blue, you know, bringing, bridging the gap between, the light and darkness, because you allowed yourself to not struggle against the energy. And then the Page of Swords comes in, bringing inside learning. The Page of Swords energy, protection, learning about the world that's around you. This is like that James Bond energy. And then the Five of Swords. you're preparing. You're like, got that little butterfly right there, and out of your cycle, right? Transforming, and you're preparing for a fight because you took cautious. Use your tools the way you needed it. Allow you to connect between the the shadow and the light, and then protecting it, right? So now you're going to fight, and you're going to do whatever you need to do, right? Protect it, hammering it in, working hard with the Seven of Wands energy, protecting your space. Try not to lose your balance. Then there's this karma energy here, this releasing, embracing change. After protecting your space, right? Because then you end your story off right here, Gemini, with the Ace of Cups. Learning to trust with compassion, right? Learning to allow the ecosystem, everything to work, nature work, because of the rebirth and the transformation here. So, Gemini, I'm just going to say that's your story. Thank you. Gemini, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to do your reading. I hope this helped you in any way, give you any insight and help you on your journey. I just want to say, who's your nice clean? Who's your nice clean? Who's your nice clean? Who's your nice clean? Yeah.